Welcome to this episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. I'm Aric.
And I'm Angie.
We are married with a ton of kids.
We have 6 kids total. He has 3 and I have 3.
My name's Hallie and I love riding horses.
I'm Lexi and I love agriculture.
My name's Carter and I love eating.
My name's Chase and I love lifting weights.
My name's Summer and I love spending my parents' money.
I'm Dane and I love baseball.
Our show is about our blended, blessed, and always a mess life. And our hope is if you find yourself in the same situation we are in, that by sharing our story, all the fun and all the mess, the challenges we are experiencing, it will give you some inspirations, laughs, and community, knowing you are not alone in this mess.
We appreciate you spending time with us. Let's dive in.
Welcome to this week's episode of Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess, where I'm already excited because I'm able to sit on the screened-in porch and record an episode, which is one of my favorite spots. So you may hear some birds singing in the background. You know, living in Missouri, the weather doesn't always cooperate for this sort of thing. And even today, as we record, it's Memorial Day weekend, which is a little chilly across the state of Missouri. Wishing I was down at Hallie's house in Florida right now, where it's about 85 and gorgeous. Luckily for me, I get to live with Miss Gorgeous. And so excited to spend the weekend with that pretty thing in the screen. And been a busy week.
Well, it has been a week. It has been a week. And it's just us on the podcast. It's been a minute since we've been on here and sort of updated on all the things and life and our crazy world we live in. It's Saturday morning, and we actually slept until 7:50, and it was so shocking because we're usually up at 5:30, 6.
Mm-hmm. No later than 6:15. That's like latest. So the fact that we slept till 7:50, like, whoa.
It means that we were exhausted. So we'll just give you a play-by-play of our week starting on Monday. Monday was normal work day. We're always slammed all day long. Summer had a soccer game that night, but bad storms. And it was kind of like, we have to drive to her game because if we don't drive to her game, she'll end up having the game. And if we drive to it, it'll get canceled. So we drive to the game. It's an 8:00 game, poured down rain, lightning, of course, game canceled. But luckily we did go because it was not the best driving conditions coming back. And Summer had a car. So I just hopped in the car with her and drove back. So she didn't have to drive in it. So that all worked out. But late night.
That was a white knuckle drive from Jefferson City to Columbia, which is about a 30-minute drive from where summer school is, district tournament time, to our house. And I was glad you were driving her because it's a lot of bad storms across mid-Missouri that night, but made it back. And then that made the week even crazier because then the district soccer schedule for the week got all jumbled up. And so where we already knew we were going to have a crazy week, now there's another wrench in the plans for everything. And we're used to that. We're used to wrenches being thrown in.
Yeah, definitely. And then Tuesday I get up early and I'm in St. Louis all day for meetings and then drive back. Then Wednesday was a big day, which if you follow us on social, you've seen some of the posts, but I was up super early Wednesday morning and drove to my sister's house so she could do my hair and my lashes. That's a must. It's a must. And that day, which we'll dive into for this episode, was definitely full of emotions.
I just want to say, some people are probably like, why would you drive to have your sister do your hair? And it's because Jesse does the best hair, makeup for ladies. People ask me all the time, why do you drive 45 minutes to get your hair cut? I'm like, because I'm 44 years old and it's the best haircut I've ever had. And she started cutting my hair during COVID times. And so 5 years of Jesse cutting my hair, I can't stop that. And as women listening know, if you get a good hairstylist, it's like having a doctor. You're not changing. Okay.
Hell no.
You're locked in at this point. And that's how I feel about it. Like Jesse's cutting my hair until Jesse won't cut my hair anymore.
Right.
All right. That's just where I'm at. And I'm sorry that I had covered up with a hat today, but
I tell her all the time, I'm like, God, I wish you could just fix my hair every day. One day, you never know. You never know. That just might happen.
If you were the best paid author on the planet, you could hire Jesse to be your personal stylist.
Oh, yes. Hell yes. Every day. nails, hair, makeup, lashes. So yeah, we'll dive into that. But then, immediately when that whole awards day was done, then I, put my parent hat back on, and now we have a soccer game. I work the gate for people coming in to pay while I try to watch summer play. And that was definitely a great game. And then the next morning, I'm back up at 5 a.m. to go back to St. Louis for literally all day meetings. I think I was on the call, talking on calls from 7 o'clock that morning until I pulled back into the driveway at 6:15, maybe.
Yeah. No, it's 5:45 because I had to be down by the Missouri River about 6:15.
Right.
Because then Thursday night, our friend Isaac, he's about 20 years old now, and a college kid here in Columbia, and I've known his parents since he was a little kid, and he's got a duo called Creekside Revival. They do a lot of local shows, and they've got their own album. You can find them online. And he was doing a show from 6 to 7:30 at this place called Cooper's Landing, which is down by the Missouri River, about 20 minutes from our house. And from 7:30 to 9, they were doing a jam session, and he wanted me to be part of the jam session, sing a couple songs. So we had that. So then another late day. We were up at 5, didn't get home till 9:30. And then yesterday we had Dane's 8th grade graduation. So that started at 9. And then we got out of that at like 10:30. And then our day took another turn because we left there. I got rear-ended at a stoplight right in front of Dane's school. Like I pull out of the parking lot. I get to the stoplight, which is like a side road because you're in front of a school, a middle school, 25 people deep. Everyone's just sitting. And then I get just slammed in the back. And thankfully, I didn't see it coming. So like I didn't tense up or anything like that. But yeah, not ideal. The deal where her car appears to be total. I think mine's fixable, but it definitely threw me for a loop yesterday. My head was off all day. I had to go get x-rays, CAT scan because my back's not great. Some things with my vertebrae, they said at the end of the day after they got all the results back. And so some soreness today. And of course, they didn't have insurance. And I'm all angry. And as Angie said, we've been through worse days. And I would just say in scenarios like that, whenever either one of us is reminded we've been through worse days, I immediately go back to that hospital room with Hallie. And it doesn't seem as bad. Doesn't mean I was a little pissy throughout the day yesterday. But
yes, he was. He was pissy. But I was a couple cars behind him. Actually, I had Dane with me, and we walked up to the accident, and the mom was just wailing that was driving the car. She had her mom in there and also a 20-day-old baby. So I immediately walk up to the mom because she's hysterical, which, hey, I've been there in the freak out moments of not knowing what to do or, trying to comprehend just what happened. And so I walked up to her and I'm like, it's going to be okay. It's okay. And her little baby, for a second, I was a little bit worried about this little tiny baby because it really did not move. It was in a car seat. But anyway, I tapped its little foot and it moved around, and then they ended up getting it out of the car seat. But tried to comfort her, and what are you going to do in those situations? You're going to be pissed off because they rear-ended you or they didn't have it. I mean, it's not in your control. It's not in your control. I'm just grateful. I kept just telling her it could have been worse. I'm just grateful you're okay. They're okay. A vehicle is metal. It will get fixed or it won't. And then we'll figure out the next plan. But, so that's going on. He goes to the emergency room, and then I'm running Dane places because he's having buddies over. Summer has a soccer game.
At a district semifinal soccer game, big rivalry game. Yeah.
Yeah, which they ended up winning. It was a stressful game. And then Dane had his buddies over last night. And I mean, here we are. It's Saturday morning and we're like, we got to record a podcast, made a bunch of sausage and pancakes this morning, and let's go. We're ready to rock and roll. I want to back up to one thing though. You just glossed over it. But Aric sang Thursday night, which I had posted a little snippet of him singing. And what do I always tell you when you sing?
That you get mad at me. She gets mad. Yeah.
I get pissed.
Can you imagine, ladies? I sing and I sound like an angel, and then she gets mad at me.
I'm like, it pisses me off every time when you sing because you're so freaking good at it. Because you're so good at it. And it's like you should be singing And
I would
Aric,
love
I
to.
always give him shit because
I don't have a guitar player and I can't learn. I tried to learn. I can't play and sing at the same time. And that's a real thing. It's like if I was just playing a guitar, I could learn that. I did when I was a young kid, but it's when you have to play and sing together. I can't do that. And some people have that.
These are our real life conversations where I challenge Aric. When there's a goal to achieve, it's either an extreme goal or it's I can't do something. So we talked Thursday night. We're just sharing our real life conversations with you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
So Thursday night, I'm like, I'm pissed at you.
As we're driving away, and everyone's like, "God, you're so good. This was so amazing. We love listening to you." And then we get in the car. She's like, "I'm mad at you." I'm like, "What in the world is happening right now? Mad at me for what?"
Well, for being hot when you're singing. No.
Oh.
No, because you're like, well, I would have to move to Nashville. That's the extreme. No, I'm sorry. You can sing locally. You don't have to move to Nashville. And then it's like, I don't have a guitar player. Okay, last time I checked, you have not even posted anything about looking for a guitar player.
No, they're hard to find.
So anyway, you are definitely an amazing singer and it is very hot. And I totally enjoyed watching you sing a couple of songs. So,
well, I appreciate the compliments and I like that you enjoy it. I was just telling you, I got to find it. Not only do I need a guitar player though, I got to find a female artist that wants to sing a few with me because I enjoy doing like duets. And there's this one with Riley Green and Ella Langley called "Don't Mind If I Do" that the kids love. But it's not the one that they won all the awards for. "You Look Like You Love Me." It's this other one that's a ballad they do in concerts, but it's just such a great song. And it's kind of what their relationship is right now. It's like off, and he may be with Megan Maroney. I'm all in on that romance, that love triangle. But anyway, the song's called "Don't Mind If I Do." And just if you don't mind if I do, real quick, Ange.
I don't mind. I mean, I hope I don't get mad at the end, but go ahead.
Me too. But
yeah.
I've been doing better. I hardly ever think of you lately. It ain't all sunshine. When you cross my mind, I start missing you like crazy. And I try to numb the pain, but there ain't no damn way. I end up in that place, and I'm just one whiskey away. And I don't mind if I do. Drink up the nerve to show up at your house. If you want to know the truth, it's killing me not holding you right now. And I'm one memory away from falling all the way apart, 'cause I might still love you. I hope you don't mind if I do. There you go. That's what you get today.
I'm very angry right now.
I'm sure
Very
that
angry.
you are. So I need a guitar player. You know,
See,
that's what
there
we're
you
looking
go.
for.
It's one step forward is
If anybody
to
listening
ask
has a
for
guitar
your
player and they don't want to be a lead singer, because that's where we have problems usually, is the guitar player. Well, I want to sing too. Yeah, you can sing harmony, but I'm here to sing. I don't do anything else, right? I may play the tambourine or something. I don't know, but
the bills.
yeah, give me the cowbell.
That's
gotta
what I
have more cowbell. I gotta have more cowbell. I got a fever. All right. So moving along, we had soccer last night. She won. Dane had friends over. It was fantastic. But I want to go back to the highlight of the week for so many of us, and that was you winning the Zonta Award for Women's Achievement on Wednesday. You were so exhausted and emotionally drained at the end of it. You fell asleep in bed so fast, and you slept all night without moving, which you never do. You are a light sleeper, and I think we're just so overwhelmed with everything that happened, the entire process, that it just knocked you out.
I think this quote by me really sums up the whole thing. And it is, who you surround yourself with matters. It could cost you your life or help you create a life you could have never imagined. And like I said, I think that sums up the whole day, because I really struggled afterwards to post something, because it's very hard to put into words what that day and that award and just being honored really meant to me, because it's complicated. It's a contradiction. Mm-hmm. And I shared this with someone that had came by my table before the event. Actually, it was like someone that was also honored and part of the 12 nominated, she said, I read all the bios and she's like, yours stands out. Like, I think you should win. I'm like, oh my gosh, like here comes from another person that's nominated and she's accomplished a lot of amazing things in her life. But I'm like, it's such a confliction for me because it's because Hallie died. It's because I lost my daughter. And so there's some aspects of feeling the joy and being honored that is conflicted because I would give all this up to have her back. It's because of the pain. That's why I'm fighting forward. It's because I went through so much. And sometimes that feels weird to celebrate when it's because my daughter's dead. So I say all that. And really the whole premise of my fight is that Hallie did not know her significance in this world. And so many women, I saw that before I lost Hallie, but so many women don't know their significance. And a lot of times it's because of the people around them, who they surround themselves with. But I'm going to caveat this though and say, when I say Hallie did not know her significance because of who she was surrounded with, I am not saying that this was her fault that she got shot. I had someone comment on my social media post and was like, oh, wow, are you saying that it was her fault? Not no, but F no. I am not saying that. There is someone at fault. And by the way, it is sure to hell not my daughter, not her. I'm saying, though, that so many people are surrounded by people, they put their worth and their value in their hands. And a lot of times when you're young or you don't have that solid footing, you're easily manipulated into believing your worth is what someone else thinks of you, and it is not. Mm-hmm. And the other thing I would say is that when you watch your child take their last breath, it unleashes something in you that you did not even know existed. Like there is something unleashed in me and a connection back to why we're all here and a clarity that I think a lot of people don't have. And there's this fearless, unstoppable, like forever fight, rising, a whisper and a roar. Like I could keep going, but there's something unleashed in me that second that she took her last breath. And I think some people might regret that I was the mama that lost their child because this burn and fire in me, I'm just getting started and I will not lay down. I will not be quiet. I will not stop honoring her. I don't know how to describe that. And so getting that sort of accomplishment and that acknowledgement that yes, women matter and they're worthy and they're loved, like that is my purpose. And I know it in my core so much so that, and you see this, so much so that when I'm not living in that purpose and I'm not doing the things that feel focused on women, that I'm out of gas.
You're not just out of gas, you're unhappier at the same time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I see it and trying to figure out the ways that we can put you in positions that allow you to help other women on a regular basis and children is important because it does fuel you and it does give you the sense of purpose and the pain. And I totally get that. It's why I've started walking with other men, right? Like, so my part of this journey has always been a little bit weird to some people, I think, because like, well, it wasn't really your daughter. But I've always felt like, I've said this before, when I started dating Angie, I was going to love her kids the way I loved my own. And I think if you asked them, they would say that they feel that. Chase probably feels it too much, more than he wants to.
Yeah.
But I have to walk a fine line, right? Because they have a dad, but I want to be this significant person in all their lives. And so losing Hallie was definitely, for me, my sense wasn't I have to help all these women the way Angie is. Mine is now become I have to know Jesus as well as I can to bring all of my family together again in heaven. Because that's like become I know, and that's different, right? It's a little bit selfish in some ways that, well, I knew Jesus before. Now I just want all of my family to be together again. And I know that can only happen if we're all in heaven. But then I'm also taking it to other men and young boys that are needing help in life so that we can try to get them to know Jesus better. That's become kind of my purpose in it. But again, I say all that, and then I've said over and over again, if I would do anything to have Hallie back, and that not to have been the way Jesus wanted me to know him so well.
The other thing I would say for people listening that maybe you're like, well, I don't know what my purpose is. How do you find your purpose? And I would say you have to get quiet and also listen to the things that are happening around you. Because for you, Aric, I know that that's your mission, but I think there's other parts of your mission that's unfolding, and that you've had a lot of people recently come to you and say, hey, I want to like stop drinking. How'd you do that? And I think having it open and listening and being in the quiet, things will come to you if you're paying attention to give you that focus on where you should shine your light. So I would just say for people that aren't sure about their purpose, that you have a purpose. You just need to be patient and it will unfold for you. I'm in the same boat, honestly. Like, I know what I want to focus on, but how and what that looks like, I don't know that part yet. I'm getting closer, but I'm also having to learn to be patient and trust God. And I will tell you, the signs are always there if you're listening.
Yeah, and it is a patience game, because things only happen when God's ready for them to happen, not when we are ready for things to happen, right? That's always the case and the point. So
I do want to share a little bit about what the Zonta organization is, because honestly, I was not that familiar with it until, I don't know, was that a year ago whenever I found out that Megan nominated me?
So last September, I received a message from Megan, the local TV station, and she said, hey, I want to nominate Angie for this award. Do you think that would be okay? And can you help me get some things together? And so I said, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. I got her in touch with some of your coworkers to answer some questions that I didn't know the answers to. And so, yeah, it would have been last September or October, in that ballpark, that this process started. And I want to say it was around December, maybe, that you found out that you were one of the 12 finalist nominees for the event. That sounds like the timeline.
Got it. So Zonta International is a global organization that's dedicated to empowering women through service and advocacy. And it was founded in 1919, long time ago. But that's kind of crazy, right? Like, that speaks to exactly what my mission is. And they're focused on advancing the status of women worldwide, that helps kind of protect, support, improve education, health, economic opportunities for women and girls. And it's global. So there's clubs in over 60 countries, and Zonta collaborates with all kinds of organizations like the UN to address like gender-based violence, childhood marriages, women's rights, all the things. So it's definitely an organization that I am super passionate about, that I didn't even know existed. So also it's like, okay, I'm looking for purpose, and here these kind of stars align and cross paths.
Yeah. No, I thought it was absolutely the right organization for something like this to happen for you. And that day was just really special. You had to get there early because you had a table and you were selling books and the stuffed animals. And a lot of people were very interested in all of that. And then you get in, you have the awards banquet, and your mom and dad were there. They were so excited for you, even ahead of time. And I kept trying to remind you that day, like, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. This is not what defines you. I think I leaned over and whispered that to you. I said, I don't know what's going to happen in the next little bit, but win or lose, this doesn't define you. And I'm super proud of you. And so it was exciting. I felt like Hallie was very much ingrained and a part of the day, so much so that we were sitting at our table, and I looked up at the table number, and I took a picture and I sent it to you. And I said, we were at table 61, and I said 6 + 1 = 7, right? And just the way it had yellow flowers on the tables, just so many people that knew and loved Hallie were there with us. And so just an unbelievable day all the way around. What were some of your initial takeaways?
Well, I think for me, I drove early that morning to my sister's house, and it was just a quiet car. And I really just prayed. I was nervous about the event. I think there's this anxiousness too of like, if I win, then I'm going to have to do a speech. And I don't love being in front of people like that.
There's
and
about 600 people in attendance, 600. So,
and just like, you have people showing up for you and you don't want them to also be disappointed if you don't win. Like, there's just so many like things in my head. And I drove and just prayed for Hallie and God to just be in my heart and spirit. And you did give me some great advice even before I left of just like be in the moment, just enjoy all aspects of it instead of being nervous about it. Just soak it all up like it's your day. And I think something that really stuck out to me was my parents, like you mentioned, but they wanted me to win so bad. And they were like in tears before they even came into the building. And like, you had no idea if you were going to win or not, or, and it was just definitely an honor to be acknowledged, even, among thousands of women that could have been nominated. But I think it was just super cute for them to be so excited to be there and just very emotional. And I think just the way that they both looked at me during the whole day was just something that I think I will treasure. Because I say all the time, like, I'm so freaking grateful that they are both here. And I think when you lose someone traumatically out of the normal way it's supposed to go, losing a child, you are so freaking heartbreakingly aware that people could be gone tomorrow. And so having people that will be in your corner no matter what with you through the hardest and darkest of times, I'm just so appreciative of them and my family and my friends, not just my parents. But I think that really stuck out to me is just the looks on my parents' faces. The other thing that stuck out to me was when they started to say the first winner, they started out and just said, this person started a podcast. And so our table instantly knew that I had won. And so I sat there at the table listening to them say everything. And my mom just like, I could feel her. She kept looking at me and I mean, just tears. And then when they said my name, then I got up and walked all the way around all these tables to the front. And I think that I walked boldly. So I want you as listeners to remember that line because it's going to appear a few months from now, but walk boldly. And I walked boldly to that podium with conviction, with purpose. And I remember walking thinking, I am going to remember this of all these people in this room because it's for Hallie. So I took that moment to feel all the emotions because the last 2.5 years of fighting forward has been so freaking hard. And now 600 people in this room is going to know her significance, which is also a line that I want everyone to remember because you're going to hear me say that over and over. It's like my mantra. But lastly, I would say is that I dressed divinely. And I want you to remember that too. Of course, I had a new outfit, but that's not what I'm talking about. And I did rock my new suit that I had on. But I think dress divinely means to me of like, I had an armor wrapped around me because I prayed so hard and so strongly. And I believe that Hallie stood with me. I believe that God is listening and asking them to be in my heart and my spirit, regardless of what happened, just like be with me. And that's what dress divinely means, feel good, walk boldly, but also dress with the God's faith and armor wrapped around you. That's how you live. And I think the other thing is I don't know the words, but not ironic but just another thing that really just stuck out to me is the full circle gamut of people that were there. So one of the other ladies that was nominated, she's an associate prosecuting attorney in the same office that the prosecuting attorney that did Hallie's involuntary manslaughter case, she was there. So the prosecutor on Hallie's case came up to me afterwards and congratulated me. And I'm sure like in that moment when she walked up to me, it's kind of like this surreal moment because she fought for Hallie And then I'm, fighting for Hallie in different aspects, but it was just a full circle moment with her being there. And then, of course, our family therapist was there, which I laughed afterwards. I'm like, I should have called you out. Like, oh, also, and our therapist who's helped me through our entire family through the darkness is sitting at the table down from us.
I had gone over to her before the lunch started, and I was like, well, if anyone's really paying attention this morning, the cat is out of the bag as to who our therapist is, but
yeah, she usually goes though. Anyway, she's been before, but we had podcast listeners. One of my great friends from high school ended up being there. There was like old connections, people that have helped me through the darkness, and then new connections of people. And like, if you think about that, that is all God's work. So if you don't think that God puts people in your life on purpose, then I would say you're not really seeing it all being orchestrated in front of you.
Yeah. I mean, even like our podcast listener, Abby, who ended up at the table behind us, and she got some great photos of the reactions happening at our table because of where she was seated, and she listened to the podcast. And oddly, when Abby and I were like 17, 18, 19, we were camp counselors at the same camp together some 25 to 30 years ago. So it is a small world, and how God orchestrates all these things to happen. And there was a former coworker that you had there that you've always told me that years ago was when you worked for the state. He was always your favorite coworker. You told me that more than once. And then he was there. So that was awesome. And then I think, for us, it's always easy for you and I to see the signs and to feel Hallie near. And it just seemed like she was a big part of the day. I felt like when you were on stage, she was just like, that's my mom. That's my mom. It just felt like she was in the room.
I had a big picture of her on the table with our books. And then I took that picture and moved it to our table because I definitely wanted people to see her and see how beautiful she was and my why. But I had a table for my children's books, and I had stickers made up that had a number 7 on it. And that phrase that I just mentioned of know your significance, you matter. 7's definitely a huge part, as you guys know from listening to our podcast. And Aric mentioned the table number of 6-1, which we did not select. That was just a table that was assigned to me. But that night, because like I mentioned, know your significance, and the number 7 is definitely something that you're going to later find out really what that's about. But I had one of Hallie's friends wanted one of those stickers. And so I gave it to her. I'm like, I'll tell you later what it's about. And so that night she texted me and was like, this is so crazy, but Brandon Lake just released this song 6 days ago. The lyrics were released 7 days ago, and he's a Christian artist, but she's like, this song would be something that Hallie and I would listen to and would headbang to. So it's like a rally song, and the name is Sevens. Yeah, I'm like, of course, it's about calling the angels. It's about the battle. It's about seeing 7s in the sky. I mean, it's just so wild. 7s in the Bible is really about completion. And I believe Hallie completed her mission here on earth. And now it's time for me to really focus on my mission, which again, you'll hear more about that later, but it's just wild. I definitely felt her presence and just the people that were there and the connections that we all felt. It was totally orchestrated.
Yeah, it was really cool. And Jesse even made sure that you had sunflowers with Hallie's picture on your table, which made sure I was like, Jesse, I get 7 sunflowers. That'd be 7. That's what we always always just do. So and whenever I order you sunflowers, I'm like, it's got to be 7. And I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm like, 7 sunflowers. That's what I need. So yeah, Jesse took care of that like she always does. When you did get called up there, your speech was phenomenal. So many people have commented on your speech after the fact that were there. The next winner, she even quipped a joke that she was feeling embarrassed going after you because she did not have a speech like that prepared, and she was a sweet lady that won.
Oh, sweet!
And she did a nice job. But yes, your speech was incredible. I just talk a little bit about that because you had shared it with me beforehand, and you're such a great writer. For me, I was most concerned in how you were going to deliver it because you don't enjoy public speaking and you don't enjoy being in front of 600 people. And I think my advice to you is like, take a deep breath and ask Hallie to just be inside of you as you do it. And so you did a great job. What were you thinking as you delivered it?
Well, I thought I would be extremely nervous. For my prep for that, I actually wrote it months ago. But I wrote it a while back. Like I will have stuff in my head, and then it's like I have got to like write this out. It just sort of like all comes to me. But I would say that as I was walking boldly up to the podium, I did take some deep breaths, and I didn't feel like I was as nervous as I thought I was going to be. I was definitely nervous. My mouth was dry. I felt like I needed some water.
You seemed very confident.
Oh, good. Well, I mean, sometimes that's not what you feel on the inside, but you hope that people don't see what you're feeling on the inside. But I can definitely, you want me just to read it? You want me to just read what I wrote out?
Read your speech, your award-winning speech from Zonta for everybody. And that's
okay.
And then we could go right from that into our grateful. And that seems like a great cap to today's episode.
Perfect. So I tell my kids and young adults all the time that who you surround yourself with matters. It could cost you your life. And I had to watch that play out with the death of my daughter, Hallie. But it also applies to adults, and it applies to me because God asked me to carry the beauty of being there when my daughter, Hallie, took her very first breath. And he asked me to carry the pain of holding on to her so tightly when she took her last breath at 20 years old. A pain you cannot imagine unless you have experienced it yourself. When you walk through fire, you have two choices. You can let it freeze you or fuel you, and I'm fueled. I would not be here today fighting forward if I wasn't surrounded by beautiful people that have done the opposite of costing me my life. They've helped me live. They've helped me stand. They've helped me to keep breathing. Who you surround yourself with matters. At the top of my list, someone that has never left me, someone I talk to and cry with on a daily basis, who's taught me to be grateful for this gift of grief and to believe and know that the reward is great for this pain. God. If you only had one person to surround yourself with, I highly recommend that guy. There are a few others. My Hallie, who I know is still with me, whispering to me to keep going, Mama. Keep fighting forward. Hallie could have never have imagined her significance. Yet she left behind an army of beautiful humans that she has impacted. My kids, Chase and Summer, bonus kids Lexi, Carter, and Dane, they have been through the worst possible scenario at a young age, yet they have fought through it and continue to shine a light in the world. They are a big part of my fuel. My husband, Aric, who continues to lift me up every single day, even on days when I'm hard to love. I know that is really hard to believe, but it does happen. My family and very close friends, they continue to honor Hallie in the most heartwarming ways. So grateful to have my parents, because who knew at 47 years old you would still need your parents' hugs? All of them have carried me through the dark. Thank you, Megan Lane, for nominating me. Another amazing woman I crossed paths with, a stranger that showed up to my house to interview me about my children's book. An instant connection and friendship established. Here's the deal. I believe women should always feel like fire, fierce, independent, resilient, and empowered. And as long as I'm breathing, I will forever fight for women so they know their significance. Who you surround yourself with matters. It could cost you your life or help you create a life you could have never imagined. Thank you all so much.
The crowd stood and applauded. It was phenomenal. I loved it. No, you're so good. And you delivered it confidently. And we had a lot of people talking to us about it after the fact. I continue to be incredibly proud of you. You were so deserving of the award. And then just to see how overwhelmed you were for the next 24 hours or so afterwards. Absolutely fantastic. So highly recommend the Zonta organization, and grateful that they nominated you and chose you as a woman in achievement this year. With that, we are left with what we're grateful for this week. Where do you want to go with that? What do you got, honey?
Well, I'm grateful for the week. Grateful to be nominated, but I would say top of mind right now is that I'm grateful that you were okay from that accident. It could have been a lot worse and could have changed a lot of things, and just super appreciative. Like, we get focused on all small shit in life, and then, in an instant, as we all know, something like that happens and could have been a lot worse. So I'm just grateful that everything's okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a pounding headache right now, which I know is from yesterday. My back is not liking sitting in this way. So as soon as we're done, I'm going to get up and move around a little bit. Yeah, I'm grateful for that. I'm also grateful for the end of a school year for all of our kids, and all 1 year older. Carter's going to be a sophomore in college next year. The twins are going to be juniors in high school. Dane's going to be a freshman in high school. And to our knowledge, they passed all their classes. And so grateful to have some extra time with our kids this summer. I do really enjoy being a dad, being able to do things with our kids. That was one of the things that I was mad about yesterday, is that I was wanting to play pickleball and things like that with Dane and his buddies last night. I wasn't able to do that because of the back and neck pain and stuff. So that was frustrating, but I am excited about the summer and being able to spend time with the kids, doing activities with them, just so that they know that their dad cares and loves them and likes to be around them. So that's what I'm grateful for, is the opportunity to spend time with them this summer, which we need to do now. We need to get off this and wrap it up so we can go hang out with kids. To each and every one of you, we hope you have a safe and wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Thank a veteran, and remember that we actually have Monday off because of the brave men and women who sacrificed ultimately in some ways so that we would have freedoms that we have today. We are grateful for each and every one of you for continuing to be our support system and lifting us up on a regular basis. And just ask that if there's anything we can pray for you, you reach out to us on socials, and you're always welcome to pray for us as well. So we thank you. Hope you have a wonderful week, and God bless.
Thank you for listening to Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and at blendedblessedalwaysamess.com.
Reach out to us on any of our social channels. We would love to hear from you. Have a great week.